Scene 21 in my version of King Lear is Act 4, Scene 7 in the folio version. So this is the last scene of Act 4. This is where Cordelia and Lear are finally reunited, and Lear, I guess, starts to see the error of his ways in a way that he maybe hasn't up till now, and it sets up the ending that we think is going to be this neat ending where ultimately it's cathartic and maybe Lear and Gloucester do die, but it's to make way for Cordelia and for Edgar. And of course it's not quite like that, as O'Toole points out. The ending isn't quite maybe what we'd expect. Cordelia says, about line 13 or so, "Oh, you kind gods, cue this great breach in his abused nature. The untuned and hurrying senses are wind up of this child change, Father." She's calling out to the gods to help. Again, we see Cordelia aligned with religious presence, with a healing presence, with this affinity to God. Granted, she says gods, because remember, this is set in a pre-Christian world. But straight away she's set up as again, this sort of Virgin Mary-like figure. Child change has two meanings. Both Lear is changed into a child in the sense that he's gone mad and he's speaking in a way that is almost childish, and also changed by his children. Both of those are significant. If we look at him being changed by his children, well, he is in terms of how Goneril and Regan have treated him, but also he's changed again now in the sense that Cordelia is starting to heal him and rebuild him. In the other sense, the child change in terms of being like a child, we see he's weakening there, but we also see a growth of innocence. Again, a sense of rebirth. He's being changed into a child. So it's both positive and negative. And that's backed up line 20 where the first gentleman says, "We put fresh garments on him." This is a sense of rebirth. Lear's been clothed again. He's been, he's thrown off his old clothes and now he's been given new ones to sort of, rebuild himself. Of course, this all comes too late. But for Edgar, it doesn't. Edgar does the same thing. Throws off his old clothes, becomes poor Tom, and then he's rebuilt again. Cordelia says, about line 25, "Restoration, hang thy medicine on my lips, and let this kiss repair those violent harms that my two sisters have in thy reverence made." Basically, let my lips be healing as I kiss him. Again, Cordelia, this healing presence, her body is the antidote to Edmund's corrupt body. Remember, Edmund uses his blood to frame Edgar. Goneril and Regan's bodies are seen as perverse and lustful. And here Cordelia's body is a healing presence. So again, we get the sense that there is this plague almost, these old men whose bodies are flawed. Cordelia's the one to put it right. And she says that in terms of line 28, these white flakes, the challenge pity of them. Basically, Lear's hair is snowy white, and that should get pity if nothing else. Again, she's looking at Lear's old body, but seeing it as innocent rather than as old and on its way out. The exact opposite take on and Regan saw him. Line 45, Lear says, "Mine own tears do scald like molten lead." There's that direct contrast there with Cordelia. Her tears are like holy water, cleansing. Lear's tears are scalding like molten lead. Perhaps that's that hint from Shakespeare that Lear has to go for any sort of a new order to form itself. And he says that about line 52, "I should even die with pity to see another thus." Suddenly he's got some self-awareness, some empathy that he didn't have at the start, but it comes through Lear talking about death, through acknowledging his own mortality. Cordelia kneeling on line 55, "Oh, look upon me, sir." Again, it's eye imagery, isn't it? Gloucester is blinded but now can see more clearly. Lear's gone mad but now he can see more clearly as he sees Cordelia. And he recognised this bit, line 70. He says, "Have, as I do remember, done me wrong. You have some cause they have not." In other words, Goneril and Regan have got no reason to turn Lear away. Cordelia has, and yet it's the other way around. Cordelia's the one who's been good to him. Again, it's that self-awareness, but it's linked with him being weak, and being literally lowered down. Cordelia has to kneel to get close to him. Both a religious image, but also a link to Lear's falling power. She has to kneel to be on a level with him. And Lear says about line 83, you must bear with me, pray now, forget and forgive, I am old and foolish." Again, it's that self-awareness with Lear, accepting this reasoning madness in being foolish, but also this rebirth in his death. I am old and foolish. He's accepting he's old, he's accepting he's flawed. And the sense is that once Lear and Gloucester accept that and sort of need to die really, there's that chance that the new world can sort of take over, which is what we get in Act 5, although, as O'Toole says, it's not as neat as that. There is a bit of a sting in the tail, which goes back to what Rutter said about the women in the play. Cordelia isn't a monster at all, she's a positive presence, and yet she is monstered. She is also killed in this carnage that we get at the end of the play that goes beyond catharsis. It actually becomes more damaging than that, and far less easy to make sense of than that.